Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking to you about non-standard marks on tools. What do I mean by non-standard marks on tools? Company names, government marks, initials, people's names, etc. Because I find it quite interesting to purchase tools with these marks on, and I've got quite a collection, and I'm sure that some of you out there will be interested to find out what some of these marks mean. Someone could say government marks, company marks, individuals marks, etc. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with people's initials, then I'm going to work up to company names, and then we're going to move on to things like the Air Ministry, war finish and other government marks. So let's get started with people's names basically. Okay, so what I have here is a small selection of the tools in my collection with people's names on them. If we start with this little fellow here, we see HHY, so that's obviously the guy's initials, whoever HHY was, and when he owned this little spanner we'll never know. But also he stamped this little, is it an Abington? Yes, this little Abington wrench here, looks like B16 on the dynamic jaw. It's an Abington number 1 as you can see, but he's also stamped B16 here, which is probably not the best place to stamp it because as you can see it's wearing out quite nicely with all the work it's been doing. So quite what that means we will never know, to be honest with you. Only the original owner will know what it means. But yep, so he stamped those. Next up I have one of my favourites, the footprint wrench. There's your standard footprint marks just there. But the owner of this particular wrench not only modified the hook, but he also quite, as you can see, authoritatively stamped his initials all over this one. Has he stamped it on the hook as well? Yes, there we go. And that one looks like it's been done while it was hot, while they were forging the end here. But yeah, so that's the guy's initials, CBWD. We'll never know who he was either, or why he modified the hook, but he had a reason for it, and he obviously didn't want to lose the this particular footprint wrench. This 18-inch Clyburn style wrench was, or spanner, whichever, you know, whether you come from the UK or America, but yeah, so this was, I don't know if you can actually see that there with the camera, but we've actually got H. Wagstaff, and he obviously wanted this little fellow to stay in his toolbox and not go wandering off. This will also be appearing later on in the video. Okay, so let's move along to company owned tools. Now then, both of these tools were owned originally by the GLCC. Yes, it could be the Greater London Council, but I think, there we go, GLCC, I think it's more likely going to be the Gaslight and Coke Company. The Gaslight and Coke Company was established or founded in 1812 and went defunct in 1949. And basically what they supplied was gas for lighting in your house, and Coke, not Coca-Cola or anything like that there, but Coke as in like coal for burning. And yeah, so that's the company right there, as you can see, going back a bit, and I think that's where these two tools came from. Both of these tools are also marked as Mosers or Mosers, M-O-S-E-R-S Limited, and my research again seems to indicate that Mosers was an ironmongery company from London. When were they set up now? In 1813, so it's not too far away from where the GLCC was set up as well, probably a year later. And I believe that obviously being an ironmongers, they would have access to tooling and tools and equipment and stuff, and the Gaslight and Coke Company, it would appear, sourced tools from Mosers. So let's look at these, well, it's a footprint wrench, but it's actually by Domino, as you can see, but same company. And we can see right here, Moses Limited. We have a number 39 here. That could have been the either the year that these were taken into service, or the guy's number, his works number. And we can see GLCC there too. Here on the Clyburn we can see Moses again, Moses Limited, and GLCC. Okay, so let's move along to war finish and government markings, government, department markings, military markings, etc., and what they mean. All of the tools you see here are marked as war finish. We have this, this is a King Dick, if we can see war finish just here. We have an old Abingdon of the similar style. This one's also marked war finish, but it's not so easy to see, this one, but there it is. It's not so heavily embossed as the one on the King Dick, as you can see. And we also have two Joseph Lucas that are war finish marked as well. When they're marked as war finish, they don't have all the embellishments on like the standard ones do. This one here simply has the number 93, and then on the jaw somewhere, let's have a look, very faintly we can just about make out, where is it, here we are, war finish just there. It's not been stamped on all that well, but you can just about make it out there, the W and the FI of war finish. Didn't get stamped very well, this one. This one has, the little small one here also has war finish. You can't see it so well because some idiots obviously clamped this in a vice at some point in the past, a time or two by the looks of it. It's definitely got war finish and 195 there. What else we got on here? Another military number there, but we'll be getting back to this wrench shortly. War finish usually means they didn't finish the tool off as well as they could have done. Let's take this one for instance. Look here, see how rough that is? It's not been polished and it's not been marked as well as it could have been either, as you can see. I have here a much nicer example. This is not a war finish. As we can see, it's got the Abingdon stroke King Dick bulldog mark here, King Dick there. It's got the registered part number just there, and the overall fit and finish, as you can see, is very much nicer. Look at the difference. So these were just churned out during the war, just cheaply and quickly so they could get the tools out. This type of thing was very often sold to civilians, although as we've seen here, we do actually have a war finish that has a government mark on it too. Now, as we know, these two are war finish and they don't have the embellishments we would expect from the company. Quite plain. Just got 93 on that one. This one's got, I think it's number 91 stamped into it, I believe. But this is what a non-war finish spanner should look like. We've got girder minor, number 90, Joseph Lucas Limited, England on this side. On this side we have the company crest. All of these markings are missing from these two here. And as I say, that's for the expediency of production, so we're not spending a lot of unnecessary time and energy marking things that don't need to be marked. Okay then, let's move along to government and other ministry markings here. I've got quite a few tools about in my collection that are marked as a government property. This one here, and also this one here, and Air Ministry too. So let's take a look at the Air Ministry first. Air Ministry markings are a little crown and an AM, and very often the year that the tool was taken into service. This is a rather beaten up, what have we got here? Bernard style pliers here. I'm currently working on these because they've got a screw missing here and a screw missing here, so I need to bring these up to standard again. But if we take a look, it's a bit rusty, but if we take a look just here, the rust has actually taken away the crown, which is just there. You can just about make out the crown. And then we have 1939, so that's when it was taken into service with the Air Ministry. This little Abingdon wrench here, there we go, Abingdon. It's got all its other usual marks on, so it's not a war finish one, but it's also got Air Ministry just here. And with this one we can quite clearly see the crown, the AM for Air Ministry, and this one was taken into service in 1931. And I've been doing a little bit of research on the Air Ministry, so pop along to Wikipedia here. The Air Ministry ran between 1918 and 1964, and it says it here, it was responsibility of managing the affairs of the Royal Air Force, so I guess what that means is procuring tools and equipment for the RAF. And finally I want to take a look at the other government mark, which is the broad arrow mark. As you can quite clearly see on this particular wrench here, is a very nice example of the broad arrow mark. So let's bring the camera down here and have a look. So all of these tools you see here and several more that I've got down in the workshop all have the broad arrow marking on them. Here it is, the government mark. This is a by Tent of Sheffield, or what's the company name here? Sheffield, Richards Brothers Limited, Sheffield. We have the Tent Sheffield and the logo there. But also down here somewhere, the broad arrow, 1944, number 9/241, and probably another number after that. I haven't found out what this number here means at the moment, but obviously we've got the year that it was taken into service, 1944, and it was stamped with the broad arrow 2. This very nice example of a King Dick monkey style wrench. As you can see, this is also marked the broad arrow. And it's also got this number here. And again, I haven't managed to work out what this number means yet. We have 11/2421, and then the broad arrow there. I've not really managed to try to do some research here, but nothing turns up. So if anybody out there knows what this number means, I mean, it could be a vehicle number, it could be a weapons system number, I don't know. But we have the, as I say, the broad arrow mark here. Now then, interestingly, these three tools here were all taken, walked out with whomever. The serviceman took them home with him, probably put them in his pocket and just took them home probably without asking, who knows, but they followed him home anyway and eventually ended up at the car boot sale where I purchased them. Now, how do I know this? How do I know these were just taken? Well, let's take a look at this little Joseph Lucas here, shall we? Well, as you can see, it has the broad arrow mark on it right here, so it was obviously government issue at one point or another. But if we look underneath, there's a fainter broad arrow and a year. What's that year? Let's have a look. What's the year say there? 1945. Okay, so why has it got two arrows stamped pointing at each other? Well, this is the mark to show that the this tool in this case, or even some of the rifles they had, if they got a double stamp like this on, they were bought out of service. They were sold out of service by the government to whoever decided he wanted this particular little spanner. So he didn't take this with him. He went through the official routes and bought it for himself. Sold out of service, that mark means. Okay everyone, well, thanks for popping over to the studio here at Rathbone Manor. I hope you found this video interesting, and I hope some of you learnt something too, because I certainly have, researching this lot here, all the different markings and stuff. GLCC I thought was Greater London Council, but I'm not so sure now. I think, as I say, it's the Gaslight and Coke Company, which makes more sense to me, because obviously, you know, you've got this type of wrench here for dealing with gas fittings, etc. And very large gas fittings too, looking at this 18-inch Clyburn here. The war finish, people's names and initials. It's something I quite like to find on tools. I know there are some of you out there who don't like to find tools embossed with initials and people's names on, but I quite like it because it gives a little bit of history and interest to the tool. Who was that? We don't know. We'll never know. It got where's the other one here? Where is it? HHW. Where is he? Here he is. HHW. HHY actually. Tell a lie. HHY. So, who was HHY? Don't know. It'd be interesting to find out. If we had our time machine, we could go back, follow the tools back in time, find out where they came from, and how, especially the ones with the government marks on, how they came to be find their way into private ownership. Be interesting to find out, wouldn't it? Okay then, everyone. As I say, thank you very much for popping over and taking a look at these tools. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing, because that will help my channel out as well. Also a thumbs up also helps my channel too. Don't forget, you can leave comments down in the descriptive text down below. I like to see that too. You can also follow me on Instagram and The Jump 2. Okay, so as I say, I hope you found it interesting. I hope you all learnt something today, and I hope you'll pop back to my channel at some time in the near future, because I'm sure I've got some other things to be reviewing for you, other tools and things. So, alright guys, thanks for popping over and thanks for watching.